Oh, there's Riley.
Riley back in here. Make sure everybody can hear us okay. Will's nodding, good. Wes, good, excellent. Riley, can you hear us? Must be still connected, maybe. Which is all right, excellent, thumbs up,
All right.
okay.
Welcome back.
Oh, she probably not in
she-
Monona.
No, I don't
Yeah,
think so.
it doesn't look like Winona. does it?
Thank you. Yes, I can. Sorry, I'm from Mexico, so I'm
Oh,
trying
very
hard here.
nice. I thought we should have moved, weren't we supposed to move the meeting there?
Yeah.
We should have, yes, we should be here,
Yeah.
because this is, yeah, we should be here, because.
Oh, look at that, wow.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Awesome. Well,
Just so you know, it was 54 here today and very sunny.
That's
Just thought I'd let you know.
It's
Yeah.
close.
wasn't that one? Okay, well, call the meeting to order. We are recording.
Yes, we are.
Okay, you have the roll call.
Yep, I actually have everybody down. Already took up this.
Minutes, did we?
I did not get minutes done. I realized that about 4:45 today.
Oh, okay.
So I apologize for that.
Okay,
So I will get them out here shortly after
Yeah.
this meeting,
so I'm
so.
not sure what we do about approving them if this is our last meeting, but.
Yeah.
I'm up to it.
Yeah.
I don't think there are any public appearances that I'm aware of.
So,
In terms of old business, we're gonna do a little recap of recent public engagement efforts. I guess Andy or Wes, do you guys want to talk about that or?
Sure. So we had our final of 3 public information meetings at the high school a couple weeks ago on January 17th, and I thought it was well received. Mary, Wes, myself, Neil unfortunately had COVID at that
I would
point.
have rather
so-
been with you guys.
Yeah, he wasn't there, and then Dan from MSA were there and provided just an overview of kind of where we're at, and really, if you've read the executive summary, which hopefully everyone has, like it's followed that kind of timeline and template of having that conversation, and I thought, the questions were good, some were
We
a
had a lot
little
of
bit
questions.
outside of our scope of, traffic patterns and redesigning the street type of thing. But otherwise, I think it was really supportive and,
And good turnout
Really?
for a bitter cold night.
yeah, it was very good turnout. So that was great. And then we promised to follow up with Parks Commission and landmarks. I'll let Wes talk about landmarks, but Doug was chair of the Parks, and I thought it was well received there. Just a few kind of general comments on timeline and such, but again, just reiterated kind of the slides and the presentation that we provided to the public information meeting. And again, pretty much a rehash of the executive summary. So I thought it was good. And, one of the things that we made sure we reemphasized was that this is a concept plan and this is not an architectural done deal moving forward once this is passed type of thing, that it still has to follow certain city guidelines and approval process moving forward, but that this is going to get us moving in the right direction as far as I think the city, and then as far as like the Friends of group knowing kind of our direction and moving towards the MOU side of things. So Wes, do you want to touch on landmarks since I wasn't at that one?
Sure. Similar presentation, I think, to what we did for parks, and kept it pretty high level. And at landmarks, focused most of the discussion on the house, obviously, as it is a Monona landmark, and had some good discussion, I thought, about how and when the plan would make it back to landmarks and what the role the landmarks commission had. And Rebecca is on the commission, so anything else you want to add from your perspective?
No, I thought it was good. It was a good presentation. We've been keeping up to date on it with me being on the commission. So,
Yeah, people seem to know what was going on.
yeah, we update it every meeting. So
I think anyone was anticipating any earth shattering comments or redirections on that, but it was certainly wanted to make sure there was an opportunity if there were any comments or questions to be, that those meetings had the opportunity to do that. So
Mhm.
again, not the last time it will be going to those entities, but getting into this kind of the 8% complete, I guess, Pat says, I just, if there was any additional feedback we needed to consider before we tried to wrap this up, so.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the only other thing I would add is like, I think it's a testament to how thorough we've been. I mean, this has almost been a 2-year process if you kind of, and so I think it's just, a great testament to how much time, energy we've put into it, but also kind of the reasoning behind what we're ultimately recommending. So I was very happy with it.
What I was looking for or interested in hearing from Landmarks is just how they thought about our due diligence and our process for evaluating the Alice House. And I think, we really talked about there being kind of two ways this might come back in front of that group. One would be to, approve a demolition if we go that route, and the other would be to, collaborate on restoration, rehabilitation. So it seemed to me like, positive reaction to the thought we've been putting into this in the process. So.
And they did offer, you've had a couple of grants for submitting houses for, landmark status, national landmark status, and did offer that as a possibility, on an
Right,
application.
Right, we would take that, we could put it on our agenda for another CLG grant. This year, but in
Yeah,
the future.
the future if need be, so, which would be helpful.
Absolutely.
So anything else about those meetings or? Well, then I guess moving on, the next item is consideration.
I'm sorry, is this the Damiano group?
It
This
is,
is,
sure, if you'd like to have a seat there, that'd be fine.
Oh, thank you.
Consideration with possible action on a recommendation for approval of the San Damiano master plan and forwarding it to the city council for their review. I guess we feel we're at that point.
Forwarding it for approval.
Pardon?
Are we forwarding it for?
To the city council, but we're also approving it. The committee is approving it and sending it to the council, yeah.
Right, but it just says it's sending it to the city council for
With
review. but I'm
possible,
assuming-
no, for their review, yeah, I guess.
And it seems like we would be sending it to the city council for approval.
Right. Yeah, no, you're right. So. Neil, do you want to do a little bit on the executive summary? Or?
yeah, absolutely, so I think the last version we had, I think we had like a 2-page kind of summary that didn't cover a lot of ground. And with all the work that I think the mayor and Andy and Wes had been doing was getting ready for the public information meeting and just kind of their presentation really was a good synopsis of the document, better than what we thought we had in there. So we started off by actually doing a PowerPoint slide that was used at the committee meetings and at the PIM. So we kind of use that as our outline for this executive summary to try to get that information in. So that to try to do a similar document that if someone hadn't participated in those meetings, they could get the same level of information a little faster than reading. What is it, 180, 140 pages? I don't know how many pages we're at now. It's a big document, so.
158.
Yeah, there we go. So we just wanted to make sure that we had a smaller document that certainly, if anybody was doing fundraising or wanted to just get information or was interested, there was a shorter, easier handout that could be used. Certainly with a link to the full document, if anyone was really interested in the full details, but really wanted to have something that was a little shorter. So we kind of just started about talking about, describing the property, what the purchase was and the grants that were used to kind of acquire it. When we took possession of the property, started to talk about our partnership with the Friends Group to do this. Basically, establishing the first MOU to set how the relationship would work during this plan process. Creation of the committee here itself, we talked about, and then the Friends raising money to actually pay for the plan. And then basically our first phase of engagement, developed a vision statement, so we included that here. Hopefully that's all familiar to everybody who's seen that throughout multiple times, probably throughout this process. And then, the vision statement here, and then the actual goals based on that vision statement. Again, those have been, I think, pretty consistent throughout the process. So we get into a quick summary of the actual master plan itself, talk about what the scope was, which is primarily the site analysis, the public engagement, and then the development concepts. Because we talked about all the information that kind of has gone into evaluating the physical nature of the property, summary of the public engagement and the outreach that had been done. So it just give some measure of how much output and outreach has actually been done for this through the process. The three development concepts, of course, there was the minimal, historic, and I think that we had even called the modern concept was the new facility. So we could summarize, those were the three concepts that were evaluated through the process. So we talk about removing the minimalist concept from consideration that really didn't seem to fit anyone's interest. But there were, throughout that process, there were several areas of consensus that were identified. Parking, the open space, again, several items listed here that the committee did feel were consistent and should be applied in either of the two remaining scenarios. Steering committee determined 4-season structure is essential. Minimal concept was eliminated. Committee did define for own goals. So year-round gathering, amenities will increase park usage. Education and the site's history was a continual theme, I think, throughout the process, both before even I was involved and throughout afterwards. And generate income to offset park operations and maintenance, which is certainly a city priority on the finances. Committee decided that their new facility rehab of the house could achieve these goals, but further analysis was really required toward making a decision. We want to make it clear, again, explain why we weren't ready to actually pick one or the other. Additional research was certainly going to be needed. Talked about two preferred alternatives. Quick graphic of each one, very small. Again, the whole obviously just full map is available further on in the plan document. So we kind of researched exactly the outreach that was done throughout the surveys, how important was the house, preserving the house. That was a summary of the survey responses, as well as the additional follow-up, some of the additional outreach work and civil work. So a fairly, almost an equitable distribution of at least three main categories. Similarly, down in this question, to kind of, and also in first, as far as I'm concerned, actually, it kind of also supports the committee's decision to not pick one or the other, as there's certainly mixed reaction in the community as well. So it does, rather than jumping in one way or the other, want to make sure we had that. The most important element, I think, that we're trying to wrap up here at the end was some of the cost comparisons. So we kind of compared them by phase, in terms of what each phase activity was, these different categories in each one. Most of the categories were the same. Obviously, the one that's different is certainly the preservation versus constructing new. So those are the two cost comparisons there. And then in further detail, we actually went to compare what the actual two phase 5 construction facility options would be in terms of different cost comparisons. So this was a breakdown of what we thought those specific costs for each related one would be. So it's nice to have, again, this is a kind of moment in time. I think Wes has done a good job, especially I think when he's done comments, I know talking about these are based on general construction numbers based on similar projects. This is not based on a construction bid. This is not based on an architectural design. There's a lot of work and detail that will still need to be added before that. Either one of these will actually really be refined to a point where we know that's the specific number. But again, based on other similar projects, at least gives us based on a per square foot basis, what we think that cost comparison will be. Did a quick summary of what some of the maintenance costs have been. Just mostly for reference. A little extra detail on what the cost assumptions were. We explained for, what exactly went into some of those in a little bit more detail. I think one of the important part of here was certainly the tax credit program here, the federal tax credit possibility here, certainly related to preservation of the house. We want to make sure that was emphasized and called out as a kind of a key assumption in that particular development option. And then we spent some time actually talking about next steps and what plan implementation might look like. Certainly city continuing to own the property, city council will make the final decision. We need to revise and update the MOU going forward. I think that's probably, I think Andy already said, is probably our next step. We need to kind of see what that's going to entail and what that looks like. Really looking to plan for a long-term public-private partnership for the operation of whatever facility ends up being, whether it's preserving the house or if it's a new facility. So starting to really kind of kind of vet out what that relationship and what that, how we're gonna determine what that's finally going to be in the future. Let's see here, talk about again, what's implementational is going to be phased as private fundraising allows. This is not something that's, we're looking at doing and having immediate reaction. Who knows, somebody wins the lottery or we stumble into that one really interested donor, you never know. Certainly, but at this point, we're looking at probably taking several years to implement either initiative, which depending on which way we go. You certainly continue to refine estimated costs, particularly from either a builder or a architect, depending if one option or the other starts to get some momentum. We're gonna need to get more detailed costs before that decision is finally made. So conclusion, we still want to, still be obviously very supportive of the acquisition of the property. Completion of the master plan is a major step forward to advancing fundraising efforts, I think. And Wes, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you guys said you guys had looked at grant opportunities previously, and one of the things they said that was missing was a master plan. That helps prevent, so it wouldn't make you eligible to apply for any funding without something like this document.
Well,
This
it's not
hopefully will
only
change that.
It's not only grants, it's also individual philanthropies.
Oh, absolutely.
So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any kind of fundraising.
So this at least shows, again, a formal effort in kind of advancing that information that hopefully folks will need to get some interest and some faith in the project going forward. Again, we're talking about formalizing the preferred business model and facility option, increasing programming and basically access on the site with a focus on fundraising, making sure that its ability to actually generate revenue towards whatever project is selected. Identifying potential partners and actually cash flow projections for the facility. So it's getting into more of the business planning of whatever option is going to be there. And then expanding the capacity of the Friends Group to help them grow and basically be a little bit more flexible and nimble in terms of what they're going to need to do going forward. So in terms of but they've certainly done a good job, I think, till this point, but getting to a point where you have additional expertise on that board that's available to just help them move whatever concept they decide forward with that. So and that is the executive summary.
I think you did a nice job with some help.
It was pretty easy. You guys kind of actually did the presentation. I just kind of
You
Just reorganized,
want,
so.
typos, recommendations for edits or anything at this meeting, or how do you want us to? handle it?
If you have them, if it's easy to just email them, all if it's just corrections especially,
Okay.
that'd be great. Certainly can take care of
We've
that.
done a lot of that already, so hopefully there isn't too much.
Well, yeah, there's some formatting issues in the executive summary I did notice here that need to be
Right.
corrected for sure, that did not come out.
Right, I mean,
The good news is I actually have the executive summary as a Word document on my end, so we can actually generate that anytime we need to and make amendments to it.
it's not anything major, but like, for instance, the second paragraph under background, it says. The Monona City Council made a unanimous decision to purchase the property for 8.6 million. Something that many Monona residents had dreamed of for years. Don't think Monona residents dreamed of paying 8.6 million. So I would recommend rewording that.
The purchases.
Right,
Okay, sure.
to,
Yep.
I mean, it may seem like a small thing, but it's
No.
just being accurate in terms of grammar.
For 8.6 at the end of the sentence.
Yeah, just.
Right,
Just-
so
yeah.
I would,
Not a problem.
I would say,
Why don't you just send the?
I will.
Yeah.
I will, and then, yeah, the formatting thing. Formatting thing that I noticed was, the most was,
A couple paragraph lines that need to be.
well, it
separated
was also
here.
we got to page 9. Where you're listing the Frank Alice House restoration versus the new event facility construct.
Yep, right there, looks like it got cut off, yep.
Well, it got cut off and it also was not tabbed correctly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so.
Yep,
And it's on both of those cuts. And then. You
Are
know,
these items you
again,
can send them?
yeah, I will send it.
Okay,
yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
Logistically, are you able to get a editable document of this moving forward, so we don't have to send it to MSA?
We would have, if the problem, I see exactly, certainly, and from a terms of a PDF, absolutely, we could get. That in terms of, I have to see exactly what software they use to actually assemble everything together, that I'm not sure on. But yeah, so it's, if they're using multiple softwares to put the But I think there might be
You
some.
can export a PDF or Word document.
Yeah, so we can get there for sure, yeah,
Definitely something, yes.
yeah, absolutely.
So any other comments on executive summary or the plan? I know we've all been through it a whole bunch of times and.
Did we square away I know the prior to the public information meeting, and I think even it came up even at the public information meeting, there was some flip-flops in terms of numbers or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
That's
had,
already been.
yeah,
covered.
we've corrected those, yeah,
Okay.
make sure the math was fine, yeah, so,
and those are corrected for the public meeting.
yeah, for the public information, absolutely, so. We actually have those tables and we created them as a spreadsheet, so we can modify and update that if we need to, so.
Anything else? Any other comments on the plan or?
Well done.
I'd make a motion to approve and forward to the city council
For approval.
for approval by the council.
Is there a second?
I do, but I can't vote.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve it. And forward it to the city council for their review and approval. Does anyone have any? Thing to add about that?
I think after talking about it for 2 years, I'm pretty much.
Yeah. I think if anybody has any last minute edits, get them to Neil right away, because I'd like to get this on the next council agenda if we could. So, no one has anything else to add? I guess Neil, why don't you call the roll?
Alrighty. Sure, you got it. Jesse?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Nancy?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Rebecca?
Aye.
Andy?
I can't vote.
Good. Wes?
I'm not a voting member.
Doug?
Aye.
Mary Lee?
Not either.
Aye.
Kyla?
Aye.
And Kyla, you got your title finally switched. It should be good on all of our documents now that you asked us to change.
Okay.
It only took you like 3 times to ask us, I apologize. So-
Thank you, covering my butt.
Hey, we don't blame, we understand. We're happy to, we just want to make sure we got it right, so.
So yeah, I think that'll be the next step, and after that, we need to, assuming it's approved by the council, we'll start working on a new MOU. I see the work of this committee is finished at this point. I'm not sure if we'll have some kind of committee structure in the future, or if it will mainly involve parks and landmarks going forward.
And certainly, obviously, the friends.
Right, and the friends, obviously, yeah, but I don't, that's something we have to talk about, I guess, in terms of the MOU and everything, how that all works out, so.
I would just say, I was just say that, I mean, I don't. You guys know as well as I do, I'm looking at my 2 city council people here, but not to mention Neil, but I'm not envisioning. There being. Any kind of a problem. On the other hand, I would say that if anybody at the steering committee, from the steering committee. Wanted to come to the city council
Yeah.
meeting or zoom into the city council meeting, either for the first read. Or for the current, the next meeting when we'd actually vote on it. I think that this has been a heck of a lot of work. You guys deserve a lot of credit.
Yeah.
And I think it's something to celebrate for this community, and I think anything you want to say about this plan, assuming that we're all pretty jazzed about it. Given the work that's gone into it, I think it would be welcome. As public input always is.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, it's always, I think it'd be great to have some input in. So feel free, that would be on Monday, the 4th, is it?
Yeah, sure, I think that sounds right, yeah.
And we should make a note to send, many members a reminder like the week before. So we have.
Yeah, Monday, March 4th, yeah.
And then it would be on for 2 reads, it'd be on the 4th and the 18th for a final, vote. It's typically how we do things, so. Any questions?
Assuming it is approved,
Yeah,
once it is approved, I don't know, should this. just again, maybe I'm just being silly, but should this group,
Have a party?
yeah, yeah, should this group be invited to like get together and celebrate? I don't know, maybe in Mexico or something?
Yeah, I think we can arrange for that,
Yeah, maybe
absolutely.
we could get together and send out him. And then it might be warm enough.
Yeah.
It already is one, yeah. No,
Absolutely.
good idea. Anything else? A plan or? We've done?
Just say thank you to everybody for your work on here. I know we've sent out. I don't know, I lost track of how many drafts we ended up sending out. But I do appreciate everybody's time and digging through it. And like I said, it's not light casual reading by any stretch of the
No.
imagination. So appreciate the constant review and comment on it to get it where it is.
And I don't know if, we have a space here for updates by city staff and friends. Do you have anything else to?
There's, yeah, nothing, certainly nothing regarding here. I know we're working with Pat and the Friends Group, obviously, on some tourism funding to kind of get for their events that they're looking at. Snow State Games or rain or snow or no snow, right?
That's
Pat?
right, yeah.
So that was a great Facebook post. So that's March 2nd, I believe.
March
Is that
2nd.
right?
March 2nd from 1 to 5.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, certainly make sure folks are out there to support that. And then you're still obviously getting ready to do planning for the wood carving.
Right.
As well too.
Which will
Got
be
some
a
serious,
big,
we've got some serious, we're gonna make sure we get that ready to go. We've got some things we really need to do to make sure that's ready, so.
right, both on the city, obviously the friends, but the city needs to
Yeah.
do few things with that too, so. Wes, did you want to have a friends update? You have anything
Sure.
to-
Yeah, we're kind of thinking about things in two parallel tracks this year. The first is all the things that are happening on site on the property this year, and just mentioned a few of those events. We'll have a fall fundraising gala again. Obviously the White Horse Festival is a big one. Looking forward to that. We think we're gonna get a lot of awareness and a lot of attention for that week and leading up to that week with all the funds that have been raised and the marketing that's going to happen. So that's a big thing. And then the other track is really preparing for the future. So, we talked about this already, but the completion of the master plan is a big deal. Gives us, and just, going through that executive summary, it really lays out the roadmap moving forward, which is a huge milestone, especially as we move it through the council. And that really sets the stage for us to plan for the future and, think about growing the board capacity for the Friends. The MOU is a critical next step in working through that. So we understand our relationship, roles, responsibilities, and then putting together infrastructure and all the elements to launch a major capital campaign. So that's what we're thinking about, and that's what we're focused on.
The work is not ending.
Oh no, it's just the beginning.
Andy, did you have anything else to share?
No, that was covered well.
Andy has turned over the reins.
Yep.
Presidency, and now that's Wes, so.
Oh, one more thing.
Uh-huh.
There's many opportunities to stay involved. I'm just thinking of the steering committee members who are maybe
Yeah.
too sad to hear that this group is coming to an end. So there'll be lots of opportunity. So we'll be in touch in ways you can support the work.
Wes knows where to find you.
Right, yeah,
That's right.
great. So anything else? Has to share? Well, thank you all again. I know this was a huge time commitment and for a long time, it seemed like we were just wading through a lot of stuff, but I think it's ended in a good product and we're happy with it, so.
Good direction. I
Time
think
to
so.
move on to the next steps. Yep. Given that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
I'll second.
I'll second.
Okay. Now you get back to the pool. All right, all in favor of adjourning, say aye.
I
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you all. Thank you. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to work with
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank
We'll be in
you.
touch.
And congratulations.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your vacation.
Thank you.
Cool.